Okay, hey y'all. I know I ain't came on here in a while, but I know the last time I talked, I was talking about deities and gods and all that, and I've been really going deep into that because I want to find the core, the root of all of the shit, you know. Um, I know last time I was talking about Oshun and how she's a water deity and she's connected to the moon, and that's me, right? And ooh la la, it felt so good, right? But it was just some things about her that was kind of jumbling me up, and I know like I know this is people's like beliefs and shit and all those things, but this is how I feel and this what resonates with me. It just I just don't want to settle for anything that's been. I just don't want to settle for nothing because one person can say a story and it sounds like that to them, but then the other person that saw the same story, it sounds like some different. It looked like some different shit to them, and you can get two completely different stories, right? So I know Oshun, she came from like the Yoruba tradition and all that. I'm Nigerian, so we right like we cousins, right? Cousins, right? And but I'm like first century, first generation. So I've never been to Nigeria. I don't know how to speak Igbo, none of that. Okay, I put that diaper on. So okay, pick it up. I don't want no baby boo boo. So I was like, okay. So I'm researching Oshun, which I had before, and like I said, she just kind of popped in my face too. And here, baby. And I see that her colors is white and yellow, but she's a water sign. So I'm like, white and yellow, that's connected to your solar plex. But if she's a water sign and moon, I feel like that has something to do with intuition and blue and throat and like projecting out. And even in the story, she's kept quiet. So she had everything to deal with communication. Why does she resonate with yellow and white? That just didn't make it too much sense to me. I'm like, that's the solar plex and white. That's like a void. This is my understanding. So I'm like, okay, let me kind of go deeper into this. Let me really figure out what deities are and what's going on with what. So I go deeper, and then I just really kind of think about like in the beginning. In the beginning, there was darkness, and then light was created, and blah blah blah, bullshit, bullshit. Yeah, I see. We came from dark, and then of dark, all this was created, and I'm like, but energy isn't necessarily dark or white or what. So I'm like, okay, let's let's figure out what source is. Source, prime, creator. What? Let's figure out what creator is. What's source? What's the beginning of all? And my understanding is energy. When I go into energy, I feel like okay, and energy is within everything, and everything is energy. like you can't go wrong with that. Everything's in, whether it's good, it's bad, it's blue, it's purple, it's green, it's yellow. Everything's energy. Whether it's wind or a solid object, it's energy, right? So I'm like, okay, energy is prime creator. Um, Energy can be even chemicals, hydrogen, oxygen, energy is everything. So okay, elements, energy. Elements gets me into the elements that make us up, which is the seven elements, from my understanding. The seven elements of I think I have it down like in my here it goes. The seven elements: moon and sun, water and fire, earth, air, and ether, or spirit, or whatnot, void, nothingness, which nothingness is still something, right? So I have my own definition for all these, but the thing is, I was kind of getting jumbled, which last night I kind of cleared my own mind with it. I wish I would have wrote it down, because then I would have remembered it even fucking better, but I was, y'all, and I just fucking finished working out, so my scalp is itchy. Like, my scalp is itching. Yeah, so. But, I got it down to all these, and I kind of made my own definition for them, but I was getting kind of confused between sun and fire. And last night I kind of made sense of it. When I thought of sun, I thought of information. And then when I saw the fire, damn, I had in my head. When I saw the fire, I thought of I guess almost like evolving. But then you could kind of put them in the same category, but it's two opposites. It's two different type of informations. I think like fire is more like a sacrifice of information out of sacrifice, and light is more like an information out of light. Does that make sense? More like an information out of like light source. You get it? Like that's when you can connect sun to Ra. That light source energy. It wasn't at a sacrifice. The Egyptians got that information. They got it out of different. And then I could connect fire to the evolution of mankind. Fire, that light. I don't even want to call that light, but that destruction of transition, that sacrifice, gave them the information of growing their brain. So it's two different types of. I was kind of getting confused with those, but yeah. And I gave the sun to the solar plex and fire to the root chakra. With the moon and the water, I gave water to the communication, the third chakra, and the moon to the seeing, the intuition, the third eye. So even with the moon, you could get that to the Akashic records, and that has everything to do with memory and all that. When communication, like I said, she kept quiet, but and you can through communication you get diseases, like when I talked about dropping the toxins or dropping that disease in that water and that whole thing, or you can even bless water and the whole thing is holy. So these things kind of go together, and I connect all these elements that made up Earth, that energy, that God energy, that God sacrificed himself and gave these energies off and gave these energies a piece of creation so they can create too. So that energy split itself into all these elements, and these elements became chakras, and these chakras kind of became universes, and these universes became systems, and these systems are us, and we are God, we are energy, we are creators of all. But if you don't have control, if one of these chakras are thrown off, or imbalanced, or not cleansed, something else can happen. You have to remember all these energy, all these oversouls, all these elements. Not only are connected to deities, elements, the zodiacs, the planets, or even tarot card symbols, but they also have egos. Like we have alter egos, our other souls, our little demons, our deities that are connected to that. You know what I'm saying? So all of our elements have deities connected to it. Like I was saying, the sun, the solar plex, Ra. Yeah, so every single one is connected to its own little deity, whatever deity you pick for you to be connected to, in whatever chemistry you have. But God, it's a lot. But like I said, every deity is kind of connected to one or another. Every oversoul or chakra have its own deities. Our deities connected to it, and these deities could be fighting within your own chakra. That's when dis-ease come in the body. I said it twice because I wanted to. Dis-ease comes in the body, and you become sick, or whether that's mentally, or you have heart problems, or you just got real bad thorax, some type of shit going on. You get, like, it makes what's it called? Shit in your lungs. Yeah. So it all kind of goes, and then I so this all kind of led me to, because I was like, oh, this kind of makes sense. So I was reading the creation of Joe Adam. That shout out to Q Riva, Quentin, and it kind of got me. I didn't really finish the whole thing because I kind of stopped here, because then I was starting to get into the story of Cain and Abel and Set. Cain, Abel, and Set. How, and I started connecting Cain to the Homo erectus, Abel to the Neanderthal, and set to the Homo sapien, because even the Homo sapien that came later on and Set was born later on in the story, and he kind of became the leader or the evolve or the brightened sun to carry out all his seeds to the rest of the world and bless us that way in whichever way. But you have to remember, all this was through sacrifice. So, like I was saying, Homo sapien Neanderthal. Once upon a time, they were brothers. We were the same, but just two different kind. You even see it with twins, when albino twin and then a regular whatever the fuck. But I mean, this kind of gets into some different other shit, because I don't even really want to say albino, because that kind of leads into, that can also spill into a whole thing of these type Pleiadian gods. So I don't even want to say that. But even with, for example, my family, you have different skin tones of different types, and like I said, it was the seven. You got to remember these 7 elements and these people that you get disease in the body. You can evolve with diseases or with different kinds of people, with all these chakras that's affecting, with all these deities and energies that's affecting our chakras. You can evolve with different qualities about us. So Homo erectus and Neanderthals once upon a time were both whatever the fuck you want to call, one of the same. They were once upon a time brothers, and just because one was different and one had a different energy, one was kicked out and pushed out. So one evolved in their whole little being, and in all the tools that they had and so forth, they kept with. But you have to remember, the Homo erectus and Neanderthals, they had the same tools, but they had 2 different physical qualities about themselves, and they evolved 2 different types of ways. So one was kicked out and kind of punished, while the other one pretty much died, right?